Time and time again, over and over again, Nigeria has been accused of scams, of fraud, all sorts of illegal activities. A narrative which, by the way, is largely false and exaggerated. And their statistics actually back that up because perception is not always the same as reality. But that's by the way. Come to find out recently that some of the largest syndicated scams linked to Nigeria are not even masterminded by Nigerians at all. Instead, they are being carried out right here in Nigeria by non Nigerians, yes, foreigners, particularly Chinese nationals, according to the most recent case, who have chosen to make Nigeria their base of operations. And I have to ask, how dare they? How dare they drag the image of an entire nation through the mud while hiding behind our borders? Fueling the very same negative perception about Nigeria. How many times have we seen stories of Africans being accused of corruption, scamming, illegal activity? The headlines come so fast that the whole world just goes with it. They hardly pause to question who is really behind some of these crimes. Is it really Nigerians? But because they have Nigeria in the headlines, they believe it. You see, it's proof that sometimes the very crimes that Africa gets shamed for and blamed for is not even committed by Africans. And if that doesn't make you stop and think, I don't know what else will. Honestly, just think about it. Now let's get to the details. Another major crackdown has just rocked Nigeria, and this time dozens of foreigners, including 50 Chinese nationals, have been deported after being found guilty of running one of the largest foreign-led cybercrime syndicates in Africa. Yes.
Nigeria has shocked the world by deporting over 100 foreign nationals, 60 Chinese and 39 Filipinos, after convicting them of cyber terrorism and crypto romance scams. Imagine the scale of this operation. Hundreds of people arrested in a single raid, entire compounds filled with scammers, and victims spread across multiple continents losing their life savings. This is not a small fraud case. It is one of the biggest cybercrime crackdowns Africa has ever seen.
You heard that right. Chinese nationals. For years, Nigeria has carried that global shame of internet fraud, often painted as the world's scam capital, right? But when we look closely, you find that some of these criminal networks aren't just homegrown. They are imported. They're imported by non-Nigerians. And that changes the entire story completely. It does. If you think about it, like, okay, so you've been using our home as your base. So let me break this down further because what just happened in Lagos is bigger than it seems. And more importantly, what does this mean for the way Nigeria and Africa as a whole is being perceived globally? So, according to Nigeria's anti-graft agency, the EFCC, at least 50 Chinese nationals were among 102 non-Nigerians, 102 foreigners that were deported in the past week after being convicted of cyber terrorism and internet fraud. And this follows a sting operation in Lagos that was dubbed Eagle Flush, where 192 foreigners were arrested in one sweep. Now, out of that number, 148 were Chinese. Just imagine the scale. And it's not the first time this is happening. Only last December, authorities busted nearly 800 suspects, including Chinese and Filipino nationals in Nigeria who were running highly organized scam operations. Can you imagine? What does that tell you? That maybe the story of cybercrime in Nigeria is far more complicated than the world has actually been made to believe. Think about it. For decades, the word Yahoo Boys has been attached to Nigeria, almost like a permanent stay, right? Anytime fraud makes international headlines, Nigeria is the first country dragged into the spotlight. But here's the uncomfortable truth. When syndicates like these are actually uncovered, especially on Nigerian soil, we see that non-Nigerians or foreigners or visitors are not just involved, they are leading some of these crimes, not Nigerians themselves. So here's the question. Could this be part of the reason Nigeria is constantly portrayed in a negative light? Just think about it, right? Scams carried out in Nigeria, masterminded by non-Nigerians, still gets traced back to Nigeria. And that label sticks. It sticks. Meanwhile, the people actually orchestrating these crimes, they walk away with less scrutiny. Their countries are not seen as the scam countries. There's so many factors that contribute to Nigeria being a target for these scammers to come and operate from. Things like rising unemployment, a large informal economy that we practice in Nigeria, weak regulations, insecurity. These things make Nigeria vulnerable, but these vulnerabilities also make Nigeria attractive to foreign syndicates who see an easy place to actually operate. And the nerve of it all, right? The audacity to think that you could come into Nigeria and get away with it. This is not just about scamming, right? It's another form of exploitation. It's the mindset that says, because this is African, because this is a developing nation, we can do here what we would never dare to do back home. Think about it. You see, the crazy thing is that in China, illegal mining, scams, corruption, they are met with the harshest punishments, even death penalty. Yet these sets of criminals who come here believing Nigeria is weak, believing they can carry out these activities and face no consequences is absolutely absurd. It's an insult. This is exploitation, right? And that's why this story matters. It's like a double injustice. Not only does Nigeria bear the shame of cybercrime, but foreign players have taken advantage of our struggles to expand their reach, sitting comfortably here in the Nigerian soil to carry out their nefarious activity, and the world looks at the statistics and then blames us. Doesn't it make you wonder who benefits from constantly painting Africa as the global hub for fraud? Who gains when Nigerians are stereotyped as scammers while foreign criminals using our soil, they go unnoticed? See, Nigeria and Africa as a whole often gets painted with this broad brush of being corrupt, lawless, or scam-filled, right? You've all heard it. Nigerian scammers, 419 fraud, Africa is unsafe, things like that. But let's think critically. How many of these so-called scams are actually masterminded by foreigners that are hiding within our borders? Doesn't that make you actually wonder if the global narrative about Africa has been carefully constructed to just always keep us looking guilty, while outsiders walk away with the real spoils? Think about it. Just think about it. And this is a clear example. But here's the part that I actually want us to focus on. Africa is not just sitting back, right? Nigeria is not just sitting back. This crackdown in Nigeria, deporting over 100 convicted foreign criminals, is proof that our institutions are waking up. It's proof that the narrative is shifting. For once, the world sees that we are not just bystanders or, culprits in this fight. We are taking back our control with the EFCC, Nigeria's anti-graft agency, and their operation. It's not just about arrests. It's about reclaiming Nigeria's image, showing the world that cybercrime is not a Nigerian identity, but it's a global problem that we are actively addressing. And for me, this is where the bigger lesson lies, right? Africa is learning to expose and confront the ways the West or the East exploits our weaknesses, whether it's in illegal mining or trade or now, in this case, cybercrime. For centuries, Africa has been framed as the land of exploitation, colonization, resource theft, and now digital scams tied to our name. But the truth is, we are not passive. We're rising, we're resilient, and we're awakening. Now, the deportation of these Chinese nationals sends a strong message. Nigeria will not be the dumping ground for global syndicates, and Africans everywhere should take pride in this. So, yes, cybercrime remains a real challenge here, but instead of just allowing it to define us, we must remember that every crackdown, every revelation like this particular one that I'm reporting on, it proves that the old stereotypes don't tell the full story. Africa is far bigger than its challenges, and we are actively working on them as well. And let's be honest, who benefits when the black race in general is painted as criminals? It's the same forces of racists and global exploitation that have always sought to keep us down. But we're rewriting that story step by step. So I want to hear from you. Do you think that Nigeria's reputation on fraud will somehow change now that it is clear that there are non-Nigerians that are driving a lot of these scams here in Nigeria? Or do you think the world will still hold on to the old stereotypes? Let's talk about this. Let me know in the comments. My name is Ife Igwe, reporting from Nigeria's The African Diaspora News Channel. See you on the next story.